So now we're going to do the thoracic cavity. So the first thing I'm going to use is my landmark right here. All pigs have this little pimple or thing on the bottom of their chin. And I'm going to start from there. I'm going to cut a slit just into the layer of skin and muscle down to here. But I don't want to actually cut any deeper with my scalpel. I'm going to go along here, along here. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just use my thumbs, and because I can feel better than I can actually see. So what I'm feeling for is the throat. I'm feeling for so I need to stand for the esophagus and trachea. So without looking, I'm just sticking my thumbs in here and I'm opening up. Because again, I can feel right here. This is the throat. So I'm going to actually use my thumb and index finger and push underneath of this so I can kind of lift it up and have it separated. Because again, dissection literally means to separate. So now I'm going to use my scalpel and I'm going to cut the top of the throat. Okay, and then when I look in here into the throat, I can see that there's like a flap right here. This flap has some mucus in there. Yummy. He's got this flap of the epiglottis, and then you can actually see right here is basically his oinking muscle. So right there, that's the larynx right there. See right there? The little thing right there? So it will go squeeze together and go. So that's its vocal cords. Right there and there. Okay, that's its vocal cords. Okay. And then this is all called the glottis around it. So I don't have the epiglottis. The epiglottis would be like up here still. So I cut it a little bit lower. It definitely does have some like mucus or something in there. Or interesting. So I'm going to use my probe right here to go under here. This right there is the aforementioned esophagus. And notice I can feel the esophagus is very loose. And it's loose because basically it's very thin muscle. And it can use that thin muscle to push the food all the way down. So that's the esophagus. On the top side, I'm going to be able to see the trachea, but the trachea is surrounded by a bunch of glands.
And right here goes
So I need to move the glands out of the way. So I'm going to use my sharp probe, my dissecting needle. I'm going to push some of these glands away. And if you were to stick your finger above like where your Adam's apple, and you can feel loops of cartilage. So as I pull this away,
right there.
I can see, Gabe, watch your hands. I can see these loops right here. That is the trachea. See the rings, the concentric rings of cartilage? That's its windpipe. So that is harder and not as easy to compress because it needs to stay open so that air can get down into it. All right, so now on to our cutting. So let me cut through this a little bit better. Get that ready to go. So the rest of my cuts, I'm going to use my scissors. But I just wanted to get through the muscle with the scalpel. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the scissors in here. Sorry. And I'm going to be lifting and cutting. So I'm cutting through the ribs right now. Luckily, this is a baby pig, so it's got lots of cartilage, so it's not as hard to open up and cut through. It's not like, regular ribs. Okay, so I'm above. Okay. So starting to see some of the internal stuff right here. Get my scissors again. Cut above. So this is called the pericardium. It's just basically a type of mesentery that surrounds the heart. So again, then I'm cutting here through the diaphragm.
You're opening it?
And then I'm opening this up. Okay. So now, again, here's the diaphragm. Now I can see all the inside stuff. So here's the liver. Much clearer to see the liver here. Again, there's the diaphragm. And then I have right here, this is the left lung, and that's the right lung. And then this is the heart. Okay, so then if I look at the heart, I can see some of the stuff. So this part of the heart is called the apex. And then I can see right here, this is going to be the coronary artery that goes through it, and then it's going to kind of go through it. And it has this lighter color here. This is all going to be the ventricles. And then it has two atria.
And how does the heart beat?
The heart beats when this part here is going to flex like this. It goes like flex, flex, flex. Okay, so right here, this from the outside, this is going to be the left atrium. Then this part down here is going to be the left ventricle. Then you have the right ventricle. And then this up here is going to be the right atrium. And then this right here, that is going to be coming out of the left atrium or left ventricle. And so this is going to be the thing that goes up to the lungs. It's called the pulmonary artery. Okay, because arteries are going to leave. So that's the pulmonary artery. The other major thing that leaves the heart, if I kind of move back, so I need you to get your head out of the way a little bit, Gabe. So I'm going to use my dissecting needle to kind of pull away some more pericardium. Let's see if I can find the aorta. So I'm going to clear out this out of the way.
Need a paper towel?
No, it's not wet. It's just got a lot of pericardium around it. So if I move this out of the way, I can kind of see behind the pulmonary artery. Again, this is going to go to the lungs. I see this right here. It's much bigger, and it actually starts to branch. Like there's a branch going up here and a branch going up here. That is going to be the aorta.
Oh yeah, your hand moves.
Okay, so that's the aorta. And you can see it starts to branch going up, and then it branches again. So usually when you see a picture of the aorta, it like loops over, and you can see these smaller tubes coming out of it. So these are those two smaller tubes coming out of it, and then it's gonna loop down and go behind the heart. And if I can actually pull everything out of the way, I'll be able to see the bottom of the aorta heading down. So that is not the aorta. That's actually the vena cava. The aorta is going to be running over closer to the back. So again, it's going to be right there.
Okay. Yeah, that's good.
That's the aorta.
And where's the stomach?
Right here. It's the aorta. So then this one right here, so you can see the aorta is kind of like very thick. It's a little bit thicker in color. Gabe, I don't know if you're out of the light or okay. This one is like kind of real soft, squishy. This is the vena cava. So this is bringing blood, a lot of blood from the rest of the body into the heart. So, and it's bringing the deoxygenated blood. Okay? So, what I want to do next is I want to actually open up the heart.
Open up the heart?
Yep. So, I'm going to find the apex here. And I'm going to cut along the apex of the heart with my scalpel.
And is that travel there? Is the heart travel there?
Now, the blood will travel all over the heart, all over the body from the heart. Okay, I need to switch hands.
hands?
Let's give Daddy some space.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so I cut through there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this up, and I can see the inside of the heart. So you can see right here the wall of the ventricle. Okay, and you can also see this really thick boundary between them right there. That's called the septum.
Septum?
Septum. And then right there, you can also see the right ventricle is much smaller. So this one here is the right ventricle. This is the one that's going to pump blood just to the lungs. And this one right here, it's a much bigger volume chamber. It's going to pump all the blood to the body. It's the left ventricle. And you can see there's some latex there. The blood has been kind of replaced in some of this with latex. So if I go out like that, my probe right there has been probing into the aorta. And then this one, if I follow it out, this one is going to head into the pulmonary artery. If I look out the other side, I should be able to see it in the pulmonary artery. Okay, then the other big blood vessels are going to be the ones that go into the atria. So those are going to be the veins. So the vena cava is going to go into this atrium right there. So again, we found that one. The other big one is called the pulmonary vein. So that's going to be bringing oxygenated blood from the lungs. And it's going to come in right, if I kind of pull this back, there is the pulmonary vein right there. Kind of hard to tell what I'm seeing right there. Let me see if I can. It's right there. That's the pulmonary vein. Right in there. And it actually will branch, and one will come from the left and one will come from the right. Okay? So, if we were at school, we would be doing a lot more cool stuff, but this is our basic overview of the inside of the pig. Thank you for watching.